Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tyler with Black Diamond Softball and Fitness. I got a brand new episode of the Foul Pole to Foul Pole podcast for you. Today I wanted to get into playing up, playing the correct age, or staying down, playing one more year at the age group that you're at. A lot of times, you'll have players or you'll see teams that are going to go ahead and make that transition up. They could have a couple of older girls on the team and they don't want to lose that talent or they don't want to lose that unit cohesion. So the whole team will move up. And there's good with that. And of course, with anything, there's some bad with it. So I want to get into that today and talk a little bit about that. And just from my experience and talking to different coaches and just kind of what I've seen around the area that I'm in. And a lot of you know that I'm around the South Carolina area. We play, all over here. But, there's a lot of different levels of ball throughout the country. So I just want to give a little bit of my perspective on that because I know this time of year, there's a lot of families that are in that mix where do we go ahead and move up and try out for a new team at a higher age group or a little bit older age group, or do we stay down, maybe play like half a year, then the team will move up. So with 8U and 10U, it's in a lot of areas, 8U is still coach pitch. And it starts kid pitch at the 10-year mark. And the biggest difference in that, of course, is that kid pitch. For me, let me start by saying 8U is probably my favorite. I don't know why. It's just something about 8U that just I love watching. If I'm at a tournament and there's some 8U going on, I always end up going over there and watching some 8U games. I may not even know a kid on the team, but for some reason, I just love watching 8U ball players. But anyway, when we're talking about moving up into 10U, 35 feet with an 11-inch ball, and say you have a girl that this is her second year of playing 10U, and she's a pitcher. Girls hit growth spurts, and they mature a little bit faster than boys and all that kind of stuff. And you always end up running into a pitcher that can just sling it. And you don't have to throw it very hard from 35 feet to get that thing moving, and it's on you. The reaction time is the ball is there super quick. At 8U, you don't really run the risk of getting hit by a pitch. At 10U, the pitchers are just not developed. You might find a unicorn that's pretty good, but at the 10U age, they're just not developed enough. So there's a little bit of a fear factor that goes into it. It's the first time, girls are moving up and getting kid pitch. So they're already sort of stepping out of the box a little bit, or they're leaning back, or they're not too keen on swinging the bat when the ball is getting hurled at them. So, these girls that are throwing 45 from 35 feet, that ball is moving pretty good. And there's not a whole lot of reaction time there. So as far as moving 8-year-olds up to the 10-year-old age group, it happens, but it's usually as a team, a whole team will move up kind of early, or there might be one or two that have to move up, and there'll be some that are right there. They can, but for the most part, it's really about that individual. And there's a lot of ball players out there that move up, and then they just have to go through those growing pains. Now, there's a big difference in the 10U moving up to 12U because, first and foremost, the ball is bigger. The ball goes to the 12-inch, and you move back 5 feet. The bases don't, but the pitching rubber does. The pitching mound goes back 5 feet. The 10U, it's more of a, if a pitcher can get it across the plate, most of the time they're going to have some success. Those are where your successful pitchers are. Not really throwing anything other than a fastball, maybe a changeup in most places. There's no sense in throwing really anything else. It's too close. You can't throw it hard enough and have enough time, enough velocity, or enough spin for the ball to really move all that much. At 12U, you back up a little bit. You might see some girls developing some breaking pitches, maybe a curve or a drop. A change-up is a little bit more effective there. But at the 12U age range, that's where you start to see hitters having a little bit more time. They got a little bit more experience. We kind of give the hitters sort of the upper hand, if you will, as far as, hitting the 10U pitchers that are moving up to 12s. It's a bigger ball. It's a little bit longer distance. So the hitters have a little bit more of an advantage there, in my opinion. Not always, but just in my opinion, I see that the hitters kind of catch back up, if you will. You'll have those 10U girls, the ones that have grown a little bit, matured a little bit faster, gotten a little bit taller, developed a little bit more, and they can move right into 12U and not skip a beat. And they're good. The pitchers are good. Hitters are good. Girls can make that throw with the bigger ball. And that's the biggest thing, is just getting used to the bigger ball. Some girls, it takes a little bit longer. With going to 14 from 12, I think that's the age range where you see the biggest jump into going ahead and playing 14U ball. And I think the reason why is because the rubber is moved back to 43 feet. It's not going to go back any further. So from 14 up until you play international ball, that's the distance. That's the dimensions of the battery, if you will. Pitching rubber to plate, 43 feet, same size ball. And that's the widest range of ages that you'll see. You may see some younger than 12 playing 14. And there's a lot of different reasons in that, but it's hard for me to believe that an 11-year-old is having fun playing with 14-year-old girls. And in some cases they're 15. Maybe their birthday fell late, but they're still in the end of the year and they're still eligible to play 14U. So that's the gap. And when we're talking girls developing, getting older, puberty, that kind of stuff, I mean, you run into some bad things there as far as the age discrepancy goes. In my experience here in South Carolina, middle school athletes can play high school ball. So 7th and 8th graders can play varsity for their high school. I have a 12-year-old that's a 7th grader that is trying out for high school this year. I'm not too keen on the conversations that she'll probably hear on the bus as a 12-year-old listening to 17 and 18-year-old girls talking. And, rightfully so, they're grown women to a certain extent. But that's where that's where things can kind of get a little dicey, get a little hairy there for you. But as far as the 12s going up to 14, that's where you're going to see. You usually see the 12-year-old team either in the beginning of their second year of 12s or halfway through their second year of 12s. They're going to go ahead and make that jump up to 14 to face competition, a little bit better competition, if you will. The game is a little bit different. The game's a little bit faster. Every age you get to, the game just speeds up a little bit more. And then you'll see the bump up from 14 going and playing high school. And where that comes in at is where, just in my experience, for an example, a 14U team will play local or play a closer tournament to home, or they'll jump into a tournament that doesn't have a whole lot of teams maybe at 14, but they'll look at the high school age division, the 18U, and there'll be 10 or 12 teams there. And you have a better chance of finding competition that you're looking for by bumping up and playing. Whether the team is good at 18U against that competition or not, just the fact that you got some 14-year-olds, 13 and 14-year-olds playing against some 17, 18-year-olds, that changes the competition level a little bit. So if you're that parent and you have that question of, should we go ahead and move up little Susie? There's a couple of different things you can look at that may help you make that decision a little bit better. Okay. First thing to look at is just that natural raw talent that she has. Is it clear to you and to others? And now I don't want you to put the opinion of others above yours, but when you see your daughter out there on the field, does she look out of place? Does she have can you look at her and say, you know what? It looks like she's not having fun playing with girls that are this age or that age. Her skills are a little bit more developed, or she's not being pushed like she should, or the way the coach is having to run practice to keep it going. The drills and the skills and that kind of stuff she's kind of progressed past that. Now that's when you start looking at maybe going to a different team or something like that when tryouts come around and you're moving your daughter. As a team, what you're looking at, that area that you're playing competition in, if there's just like, say you're a 10U team and you keep playing the same teams over and over, it's the same teams, but a different town. But you keep seeing like the 12U tournaments, they have better competition. There's more teams, there's more variety, there's more ball being played. Then you might consider at that point going ahead and moving up just for that competition's sake. I see a lot of times a player will, or in a family, they just don't know what's around them. So they'll see that their daughter is dominating. She's much bigger, she's much faster, she's much stronger than the area that they know. And then all of a sudden they think, okay, well, she's good enough to play at the next age group. And a lot of times what that is she's just not playing the right competition at her age. There's always, at every age group, there's always somebody better than your daughter. That's just how it is. In the sport that we play, it comes and goes. They'll go through slumps, they'll go through ups, they'll go through downs. There's always competition that if you look for it, you'll find it. So saying, you got your daughter, she was super dominant at 10U as a pitcher, just one of the best. And, you want to think it's talent, and that's just how good she is. And then she moves up to 12, and all of a sudden, now that fastball that was really good at 35 feet with an 11-inch ball is no longer good with a 12-inch ball from 40 feet. And so now you got your daughter, it's a complete flip to where she was so dominant, full of confidence and this and that. And then now it's like, well, wow, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And the parents, they try to, talk around it and pacify it and baby it and, go through the growing pains, this and that. But the truth of the matter is, if you're dominating whatever age group you're in, go find better competition at that age group. Let your kid dominate at the highest level that they can at their max age. So if they're 10U eligible, let them just continue to dominate until they have to move up. Let them continue to be that. Let them be the superstar. Let them be the rock star. I get asked all the time from different parents and stuff, should we move up so-and-so? She's doing really good, and she's clearly the best hitter on the team and this and that. Should we move her up? Well, let her be the best hitter on the team. Just let her dominate. Let her get better. She's gotten really good at this age group, and let her work on the other things, the things that aren't noticed as much, so that her foundation is better. There's something to be said to bumping up in age to chase that competition, and I agree. Sometimes you're forced to move up for that competition, for your daughter to continue to develop, and I get it. But just because you go through like 2 or 3 months of a season, and she was the best hitter on the team, best pitcher on the team, that can go away. Anything can shake that confidence. An injury could happen, anything. So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you one way or the other what you should do. Everybody's situation is different, but look at it from all facets, if you will. The second thing, if you're looking at moving your daughter up, making sure you're with that right team, making sure you're with the right coach. Don't just move up to move up and think that your daughter is going to be the queen bee again when she gets to this new team. If she has to find a new team because her team is staying down, she doesn't want to play down anymore, she doesn't want to stay this age group, she thinks she's ready for that next group. I see it all the time where a girl she'll age herself out, or her mom and daddy will age herself out, and they'll jump up and go to a new team thinking that they're just going to be as dominant. And it's not the case. Or they're thinking that they'll get to that new team and have this experience with a coach like, well, where we came from, we played this position, we batted this spot in the lineup, we pitched this many innings, and you think it's going to be the same because you come from, the top tier of one team. You think you're going to be automatically into the top tier of the next team. You're going to roll into a starting position. You're going to, you don't have to continue to develop and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different dynamics that are going on right there when you start to move up. So when you're going out to these tryouts and stuff, watch the teams, see where your daughter fits in at. You don't want to go out there and necessarily be the best athlete on the field when you go to a tryout, because if that's the case, there's no reason for you to move up. I mean, it's a lateral move, if you will. There's no more development there. And you can read these coaches. You can look at these coaches and watch them, run a practice, see how they do, they're developing players. Is their practices nothing but a scrimmage? They just go out there, a few girls hit. We just do the basic stuff that we were doing at 8U. The whole practice, maybe that's it's not time for you to move up with that team. Find somewhere else. So it's hard for me to imagine that a player that's dominating at 10U is going to jump up and dominate at 12U. It just doesn't happen that often. Will it? I mean, I guess it will happen, but I just haven't seen it. There's something, the area that you're in as far as competition isn't there, but it just doesn't happen. I mean, you look back at some of the greatest players that's gone through there, through college or into the pros now or playing internationally. They didn't dominate at every level. Maybe one or two got to a certain point once they reached to 14U, 15, and they were able to just mash any pitcher. And those are Jocelyn Allos and others that were just eventually got to a point where they were just dominant. But it doesn't happen all that often. As far as, number 3 goes, what you need to consider when it's time for you to move up, the dynamic between changing teams, new parents, new players, new coaches, it's that awkwardness, and having your daughter being the young one on the team. There's certain things that goes with that. It just, by nature, that's just how it is. Kids are going to be kids, so they're going to treat the younger ones like the younger ones for a little while until they build that connection. It's just like, imagine being a senior in high school and a freshman is in a class. It's just something different. Is it right? Is it wrong? I mean, I don't know. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of being a human. It's part of being a kid. So it's like the low man on the totem pole. You can look at it, in high school sports, these new, say these phenom freshmen that were really good in middle school sports or rec sports or whatever, they were really good. Now they're trying out for the high school team, and they're just not as dominant as people thought they were going to be. So think about that pressure that goes on to A, joining a new team, B, being the young one on the team. And it's going to be hard on them. I'm not saying they can't do it and it'll never work out. But what I'm saying is there's some different pieces to the conversation now that you're going to have. And number 4, man, do what you think is best. It's your kid. It's your life. If you're just not happy and you want your kid to go ahead and bump up and play early and go through the growing pains, and they're going to sit the bench. Their playing time might go down and this and that. Hey, go for it if that's what you want to do. I at some point, everybody gets to the realization of chasing trophies and chasing rings and chasing medals in travel sports isn't what it's talked up to be. I can promise you that at some point everyone comes to that realization and they regret chasing the championships over chasing development. Usually, at 8s and 10s, you're trying to win anything you can. You may not want to jump out there and play competition. Just by averages, I'd say. About that 12-year mark, that 12U is when you start to get around more people. You start to talk to different coaches, and you start to see the upper echelon of talent. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just play local, and you don't know that how good of softball there is out there just because you've never been exposed to it. So you'll post on Facebook and you'll post on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff about how great your daughter is, and the people that and they know your daughter and stuff, but they know the competition that y'all are playing. They're not going to hurt your feelings. They're not going to say, well, yeah, but you guys aren't really playing a top competition. So for you to claim that the best pitcher in the area, blah, 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 you might want to play the highest competition that there is out there. And I understand that it's not always available, but just be careful, because when the parents start saying how good their kid is and how dominant their kid is and this and that, you're leaving yourself up to get exposed. Because eventually they're going to work themselves into a situation where, hey, you're on this new competitive team right here. We go play the top competition. We don't play any local tournaments. We only play the highest end, where we know the teams that are coming are, the upper echelon of competition, and they just get exposed. It's like, wait a minute. And then here comes the excuses. I've seen it. I know it happens everywhere. I see it on social media. That they're putting this stuff out there. It's the ones, what I'm talking about, it's the ones that will say that we won X, Y, and Z tournament, silver bracket champions. Okay. You go 0-2 in pool play, then you win 2 games in the bracket. There's 8 teams there. There's two brackets. A gold and a silver, 4 teams in the gold, 4 teams in the silver, and you lost your 2 pool games. So you went down to the silver bracket, and somehow you were able to win the championship. So out of 8 teams, you were 5th best because you didn't make it into the final gold bracket, but you're going to celebrate that like a championship. You're going to post it out there for your tryouts. You're going to put it out there like, hey, we win championships all the time. And parents not knowing, well, this team wins championships. I want my daughter to win championships, so we're going to go here. And then before they realize it, it's too late, and their daughter's missed a year and a half, 2 years of development because we're out here chasing some plastic trophy or some medal, some $5 medal or something like that. And the game has kind of passed them up. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on playing up. Just to recap it, it's like, if you feel like she's ready, let's move her up there and let's let her be in the middle of the pack. Let her go through her growing pains. Let her know it's okay. You're the youngest one out here. You've got to learn to develop this way, and you've got to learn how to get better at this age. And eventually it'll all work out. At some point, everybody that don't know will know, and they'll look back on it and go, well, we probably shouldn't have moved her up as soon as we did, or it could be, well, we should have moved her up sooner than we did, but, so it's just my opinion on that kind of stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed that and all the other episodes that I've got. Everything is out on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Apple, Google, anywhere you can get to a podcast, it's here. So I do appreciate you guys checking it out wherever you're listening to it at. Also, we have the YouTube channel, Black Diamond Softball and Fitness. During the off season, I just post a lot of different highlights and stuff, creating YouTube shorts. That stuff is out there. I missed softball season. I can't wait for it to get cranked back up. The live show is still working. I'm still keeping that up and going until the season starts. We're going to jump out there and get that out. So appreciate you guys for listening. And if you share this with a friend, make sure you tell them you love them.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.